We've launched hundreds of low-ticket info products since I got started in the online space 10 years ago, for my own businesses and also for our agency and our clients' businesses. More specifically, over the last few months, we've launched multiple AI-generated low-ticket digital products across all the major niches of health, wealth, and love. And in this video, I'm going to share what's worked for us, because some products worked really well, some not so well, some we're in the process of scaling up, like the one you can see on the screen right now. So there's a couple of key things that we've seen across all of our winning products, if we want to call it. And number one is that the main focus of the offer is transformation, not information. So if you've been YouTubing or Googling like how to make money online selling digital products, one of the most common things that you will see is people teaching you how to create PDF guides and how to use like ChatGPT and how to use AI to create like a 94-page PDF. Now, even though you might look at it and think, oh, that's cool that AI can create that, the problem is, and what I see time and time again, is people will do it, they'll do the process, they'll create the PDF and the ebook, they launch it with ads or on social media, and they make no sales. And it's because people don't want to buy information. No one wants to buy, never mind read through, a 94-page PDF. With the internet, and more specifically ChatGPT, like everyone's using it right now, not even just business owners, but everyday people, they are using ChatGPT to get the information that they need to solve their problem. So you just putting something from ChatGPT into a PDF isn't going to sell, because people know that they can get that information themselves if they really wanted to. So all of the products that worked well for us, they didn't really talk about how many pages were in the PDF, or it wasn't even a PDF to begin with. It was a transformation mini course created with AI. Now, these are the 5 main components that we talk about, or that we include when we create a transformation offer. So number one, it solves a very specific, painful problem. Now, I'll talk about the specific aspect in a second, but one of the biggest problems I see is that people are launching these offers because, again, they've gone through the process, and these courses teach you how to like use AI and research to find these problems that people are experiencing. But I found if you're launching a cold offer to ads, so you're marketing to a cold audience who have never heard of you before, the problem that you need to solve needs to be so incredibly painful for your prospect that they are willing to just pay a complete stranger on the internet to help them solve that problem. Now, the problem with that is that if that problem isn't incredibly painful for them in that specific moment, then they aren't going to be in enough pain to buy. So I see people launching courses on, it could be like parenting advice, productivity advice, and basically BS PDFs around stuff like that. But the reality is a lot of that stuff isn't a painful enough problem for most people to pull out their credit card and pay a stranger on the internet who they don't know, and they've just seen an ad and a sales page, and now they're willing to give them money. So you best hope that the problem that you are solving is an incredibly painful problem, specifically in the health, wealth, or love/relationship niche. But you can't just pick any problem within that niche. It needs to be some of the most painful problems. Number 2 is obviously provide a specific result. So again, what you don't want to do is sell even like a weight loss guide or a nutrition guide or a health guide or something like that. The outcome that you are promising with your transformation needs to be incredibly specific. And even if you can't promise like the main outcome of losing X amount of weight in a certain amount of days, I'd rather you promise something less glamorous or less sexy or less big, but at least it be a specific outcome, because no one, again, is going to pay a stranger on the internet for like a health guide or, how to lose weight guide, right? They're just not going to do that. So you need to make sure that you have a very specific, tangible result that they are going to experience at the end of your transformation mini course. Number 3, it needs to be fast. So again, you need to frame your product to be in a short time frame. Now, for some of you and your offer, you can't promise X result in 7 days or 14 days, for example. But what you can do is create an offer that can be consumed within that time frame and then be repeated. So for example, I recently, well, not recently, probably a few years ago now, I was experiencing some knee pain, injured it playing football, and I couldn't really train properly in the gym. I couldn't go for runs or anything like that because of my knee pain. Now, I bought a program that helped me manage my knee pain and repair the knee. Now, it was a 7-day program, but it wasn't that it was going to fix my knee within 7 days. It was just a program that I did over a 7-day period, and I repeated that. So obviously, like, the ideal scenario is, yes, buy our product, and within 7 days, you're going to experience X result, or 14 days, or 21 days, or 30 days. But realistically, for a lot of these really painful problems in people's lives, some of the stuff can't be fixed. It's just impossible. Like, you'd be lying if you promised that you could fix it within 7 days. But what you can do is create a process, like a transformational process that they do that is maybe 7 days long, or 14 days long, or 21 days long, but then potentially can be repeated over a certain amount of time to get a desired result. So it could be, for example, a 7-day, I'm not saying this is the best offer, but a 7-day workout program. Or for me, it was a 7-day program for my knee. Now, I repeated that over a 6 to 12 month period, and it helped fix my knee. But if they would have led on the sales page of, hey, fix your knee in 12 months, that wouldn't have sold. But the fact that it was a 7-day program sold me. So even if your big promise or your big result can't be achieved specifically in that time frame, how can you create or frame your offer in a way where it can be consumed in that time frame and then obviously be repeated to get the long-term result? So that's like the biggest advice for the fast. Number 4 is low effort. So we launched a low ticket offer, and it was like a 21-day program. It had a specific result. We were targeting a specific problem, but people didn't buy it, or it wasn't selling very well. And not even that, some of the customers who were buying weren't completing the product. And the issue is that it was a 21-day program, but the lessons within those 21 days was like 90 minutes long each. And it was just too much information. And it was actually a lot of effort for the consumer to go in and not only like watch a video for 90 days every single day, for 90 minutes every single day, but for them to implement that stuff, it was too much. People became overwhelmed. So they either like bought the product and didn't end up finishing the product and didn't get the result, or the fact that they could see that it was that much time commitment over the 21-day period. Most people are busy. They don't have time, especially again, if they're seeing a stranger on the internet give them this promise, then they don't have the time to just dedicate 90 minutes plus every single day to a complete stranger. So what we did, we swapped out those 90-minute lessons, and we basically just give them bite-sized 5 to 10-minute lessons per day with like one single exercise that they needed to get completed. And we basically framed it like that on the sales page, 5 to 10 minutes a day, one exercise that takes 5 minutes to implement. And that increased our sales. Even though we were actually giving them less, we were technically giving them less value because the lessons were shorter and it was less information and less exercises for them to complete. But the fact that it was such low effort and people could see themselves using the product and implementing it into their daily lives with ease increased the sales and obviously increased the consumption as well, and therefore the customer results. So you need to make sure that it's low effort, and then obviously low cost, which most people talk about. All of the products that we test pretty much are below $50. So that's number 1. Number 2, and it's more on the specific aspect of the painful problem, is less is more. So if you've been in the internet marketing world for a minute and you've consumed any of like Russell Brunson's stuff or even anyone's stuff these days, because people just regurgitate the same info, is that people will talk about the irresistible offer and the offer stack. And basically what that is that you're supposed to provide a main offer, whether it's a program, a course, or the main offer or product. And then you want to stack as like many different bonuses as you can. And usually what I've seen, when you apply that framework to low ticket offers, to cold traffic with ads, it doesn't convert as much. See, what I see a lot of people do is, and I've got the machine gun here, because what people are doing with their offers is they're picking up the machine gun and they are trying to spray and solve as many problems that they can with their offer. So they might have a front-end offer, for example, that is for agency owners, who they might have a front-end offer that is like the agency starter kit or the agency scaling program. I don't know what it is. But they'll pick up the machine gun and they're like, right, I'm going to solve your niche problem. I'm going to solve how to outreach to clients, that problem that you're experiencing, how to fulfill for clients, how to hire team members, how to communicate with clients. And they will basically try and solve that whole agency's problem. And they'll call it like the 7-figure agency kit. And they'll try and create a program that scales your agency from 0 to 7 figures for like a $27 product. And they think, oh my gosh, who's not going to buy this? I'm going to give everything. I'm going to teach them from 0 to 7 figures just for $27. People would be stupid not to buy this. And they launch an offer like that with ads to call traffic and no one fucking buys. And it's because it's too much. You see, you've got to think about it from the customer's point of view. If you are trying to solve every single problem a person has, you know how many problems an agency owner will face going from 0 to 7 figures? There is just a ridiculous amount of problems that you would experience in that process of going from 0 to 7 figures. And even if your course is super valuable and it is good and it does solve all of those problems, number one, no one's going to believe you. So no one is going to look at a complete stranger on the internet and within 10 minutes make the buying decision that their whole business relies on this person and they're going to trust them to take them from 0 to 7 figures just for $27. So number one, it doesn't feel realistic, even if your product does deliver. And just for the cheap price point, it just doesn't make sense for that person. Number two, people think that the more courses and the more bonuses that they add, the more valuable they offer. But they're forgetting one important thing. It's time. What is the time cost to the person buying? So for example, if I see you on the newsfeed and you're like, hey Sam, I'm going to scale your agency to $100 million. And to achieve that, we've got this course, this course, this course, this course, this course, this bonus, this bonus, this bonus. And if you go through all the process, you'll make $100 million, right? No-brainer offer, irresistible offer. But if they're a stranger and I don't know them and I don't like them and I don't trust them yet, then the time risk for me is that they could be lying and what they say is not true. And I'm going to go through hours worth of content only to be disappointed at the end and not get the result. And even if they give me a money back guarantee, I've still need to give me the $27 back. It doesn't fucking matter. I've just wasted 100 hours learning from that person and what turned out to be BS and that they couldn't deliver on the promise. So cool, you give me the $27 back, but I don't give a shit about that. I give a shit about the 100 hours I've just wasted going through your program that didn't help me get the result. So when you present a complete stranger on the internet of like, hey, 100-page PDF or, 50 module course with 100 different bonuses, guess what? It's a huge time risk for that person to say yes and accept you on that offer because they could go through the content, spend hours implementing, and it could result in being nothing, right? So you don't want to just offer loads of stuff. What we found to be the best is not to take the machine gun approach and be like, hey, I am going to solve every problem an agency owner could experience. But you're going to be like a sniper and you're going to just target one very specific problem that your ideal avatar is experiencing. So I've used this example on the channel before. If I was taking the agency route, then what I would do is, I would look at what is one of the most painful problems an agency owner has, and it's that they can't get clients. And it's like, okay, what specifically about getting clients is difficult or painful for them? Well, most people basically struggle on the first part, which is getting replies to their outreach. They might go through all the courses. They might, set up an Instantly account, Lemlist, whichever software people use, and they'll send thousands of cold emails and thousands of DMs on Instagram, and they get no reply. So typically that is one of the most painful parts about building your agency from the beginning. So what I would do is I would create a cold outreach script, or I would take my best cold outreach script that has, generated 1,234 meetings in the past 12 months, or whatever the number is. And I would sell that for like $21 and just say, hey, this script has generated this many meetings over the last 12 months for this type of agency in this specific niche. If you want the word for word script, it's $21. Now, again, that offer is less valuable. I'm giving them less because in that big 0 to 7 figure agency program, I would also give them the script. But for the stranger on the newsfeed, they have a lot more trust in that other offer, in the second offer, because it is a low time risk for them. Because by the time they log in and they look at the script and they can send an email using the script, that could be like a 10-minute process. So even if the script turns out to be BS, they've only wasted 10 minutes of their time. So it's not a big risk for them. The cost is low as well because it'll be like $17, $21. So there's a low cost risk as well. It's very easy for them to implement. So you always want to look at reversing as much risk as possible. And then also that ties into the very specific painful problem of, hey, my cold emailed outreach isn't working. That is a lot more specific. And in our sales copy, we can get a lot more specific with the pain point and the frustration and the different scenarios that that person is experiencing on the day-to-day basis when their cold email outreach isn't working versus 0 to 7 figures. Again, there's a gazillion different problems that an agency owner could experience and different frustrations and pain points that they could experience from 0 to 7 figures. So, you're going to have to be very general in your copy there. You're not going to be very specific in your sales copy because you're trying to appeal to too many different people and too many different pain points. So less is more when it comes to the front end offer. And in the back end, you can offer all the other stuff. And the third point is to target people who are solution aware. So, and this is the sophistication pyramid or the levels of awareness pyramid here. Now, what most people do is, and I'm not saying this stuff doesn't work, but I think if you're a betting man, you want to obviously go with the ones with the best odds to win. Well, actually, you don't if you're trying to get a return. But hopefully you get the point that I'm trying to make, right? You want to make sure that you want to bet on the winner. And most of the time, targeting a solution-aware audience is going to be more profitable and better than a problem-aware. So, for example, if people are here, and even though there's like a larger market in the problem-aware, if you're launching a front-end low-ticket offer, I wouldn't do it. So for example, if I was teaching people high-ticket drop shipping, for example, what I wouldn't do is create a high-ticket, like a drop shipping starter pack and target people who may be problem-aware, so they hate their 9-to-5 job, they don't like the government, they want more freedom in their life, right? They're aware of these problems. And then sell them on drop shipping being the model for them, and then selling them on high ticket drop shipping, being the best version of that solution. Because the issue with that is that you're trying to sell them on two things. Number one, you're trying to sell them on drop shipping being the best solution to their problem or being like the way to make money online. And then you're trying to sell them on your process, and that high ticket drop shipping is better than like regular drop shipping. So you're trying to sell them twice on the same sales page. And obviously due to like people's attention span, it is getting increasingly more difficult to sell just on a sales page. So what you want to do is target solution aware people. So if I had a high ticket drop shipping program in the beginning anyway, especially if you're just starting out, you want like the easiest wins. What I would do is I would target people who have tried and failed with dropshipping before because they are already aware of the solution to their problem, which is dropshipping. Now I only need to sell them on why my solution is better than the other solutions. So I can go in and explain the reasons why, they failed, why regular dropshipping has failed, right? We can like throw rocks at their enemy and say, hey, it's not your fault, it's the model that you were using. And actually I've got a new, better solution, but it's still like the same solution, which is dropshipping. I've just got a better version of it. I've got a better product. So you're only trying to sell them on one thing, right? That is much, much easier than trying selling someone on a new opportunity and then providing, your version of that opportunity. Again, I'm not saying you can't sell to problem-aware people with a low-ticket product. And obviously at scale, you're going to have to change your messaging to be that if you really want to scale. But these are problems that you're experiencing when you're already making like 100K, 200K, 500K per month. If you guys are just wanting to make like a 2 to 5 to 10K per month profit from like a low ticket front end product, then all you need to do is target the people who are already solution aware and just sell them on your better version of that solution.